All right, guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Gavin Aiden. For those of you who don't know, the training vlogs that I create are meant to document my journey to becoming an open world champion powerlifter, drug-free open world champion powerlifter. So far, I have won a junior world championship. I won best lifter at that meet as well. I've flown all over the world to lift hundreds of pounds for thousands of people. I've set world records. I've done it all except for becoming an open world champion, and I want to become a multi-time, multi-class open world champion powerlifter. So that's what these training vlogs are about. We are currently 2 days away from competing, which is crazy to think about. And hopefully this video will be uploaded on Friday. Today is Thursday. I compete on Saturday. So hopefully you guys will be able to see this just before nationals. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi in this building is atrocious. So that's what's been holding back the uploads, to be honest with you. But that's neither here nor there. In this video, I just kind of want to break down, give you guys an update on how my body's feeling, how I'm feeling going into nationals, what the experience has been so far with the travel, the cut, all that stuff. And then of course, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset. And then actually in the back half of the video, we might do some training. All right. So I'm going to take you guys I'll show you guys the venue. I'll show you guys everything. And I think I only have a bench session today, and I don't really want to have to drive to a local gym. So I'm going to hopefully try to sandwich myself in between basically the morning and the evening session today, and get into the warm-up area and just get my benching done. So I'm going to try and coordinate with my coach and a couple of other people who are here at the venue to see when they're going to train, because, you know, it's easy for people to kick out one person who shouldn't be in the warm-up room, but to kick out, 20, it's like, okay, you know what, let's just let them finish and do their thing. So there's power in numbers, so to speak, when it comes to this stuff. So yeah, so that's the plan for today. Okay, cool. So let's not dilly-dally. To kind of give you guys an update, we are in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, and in a moment I'll kind of give you guys like a panoramic view. Unfortunately, the best lighting is coming this way from the windows, so I can't show you guys like the lake view or the trees or the mountains and stuff, which kind of sucks, but I'll show you guys in a little bit. Lake Tahoe is gorgeous. It was about an hour drive from Reno, Nevada, and we got so lucky. You probably see Heidi kind of walking around in the background. Heidi's with me. We got so lucky flying from the Northeast. We flew direct from JFK, which there's only one direct flight out of where we live. And so we woke up pretty early to get to the airport. We flew in Tuesday. It was about a 6-hour flight, honestly, not that bad. And then we trained at a gym, American Iron Gym, near the airport, and then drove an hour to Lake Tahoe. So really cool. Honestly, travel was relatively seamless. I mean, it really wasn't that bad, especially in comparative to previous years. It really can't complain. I've competed in Reno before, 2 years ago, when I actually missed weight at nationals. It was a 5-week turnaround from my first or second Sheffield, I forget. And it was the second one. And that travel was brutal because there were no direct flights and I had to get connections. And so what could have been like a 6-hour flight turned into like a 10-hour travel experience. Not fun. So I'm not complaining about the travel whatsoever. So travel was good. Water loading has been pretty seamless. My body weight as of this morning was 206, and I started my water cut around 210, which is great. So the water cut seems to be working. We also found a really good sauna at a local gym nearby, just in case we need to sweat. Always good to have a plan B when it comes to that. So of course, the one time that my water cut seems to be working, we have a sauna accessible to me, because when my water cut doesn't work, all of a sudden I don't have a sauna accessible to me. So it's just funny how that works. But either way, I'm happy that we have that there. So weight's on point right now. Very, very low sodium diet at this point, low residue. So basically, and maybe I can make a separate video on this, but basically my diet is rice cakes. So, and remember, anything that I tell you right now, just find the lowest sodium option, because that way, A, we don't have to worry about having high sodium, but B, it's easier to control our sodium intake. I can always add more salt. It's hard to take away. You can't, you know what I mean? So always better to start at 0 or start the lowest amount. And then if you need more sodium in your diet, you can add it in. So everything I say is going to be low sodium, but we've got rice cakes, peanut butter, jelly, some brioche buns. I did find some like somewhat low sodium like cold cuts, but I can't have that this close to the meet. I had some yesterday. I'll have some at the meet, but that's kind of out the door now. What else? Protein shakes, big one. Dextrose powder, big one. And then some candy too, to get some extra carbs in if I want. I think that honestly might be it. Yogurt as well, and orange juice. But I rarely even drink the orange juice. Yogurt's a big one for the breakfast because I do yogurt and a banana, and that's the same breakfast I have even when I'm at home. The key thing here is I'm not going to break down the whole like water cut process, but the key thing here is we stay on track with calories. So calories aren't really changing. I'm not lowering my carbs or anything like that. But the food sources change because we don't want to have anything that's high volume and stuff that's hard to control in terms of like, again, the salt and butter and all that stuff. So I can't eat out. I can't really do that. And if I have, let's say, 50 grams of protein and 50 grams of carbs from steak and potatoes, that's going to affect me a little bit differently and fill up my stomach and just way more, take up more space, so to speak, than me getting that 50 grams of protein, 50 grams of carbs from some rice cakes with peanut butter and a protein shake, right? So those are the types of changes we make around this time. And yeah, but it's going smooth, man. I'm actually really excited because this is my first time working with, I'm working with a Zero W, and the coach that the nutritionist that I'm working with, her name is Rochelle, and I've had a lot of experience working with a lot of different coaches, and I've had great experiences with Kedrick from Reformance. I've had great experiences with Lane Norton, and I kind of just wanted to try a somewhat different approach and see if we can nail something down that is a little bit more reliable over time. And so I just decided to start working with Rochelle, and things have been going pretty well. Like, she drew up the whole plan for me, and like I've been following it pretty much to a T, and things so far have been going really well, and I feel pretty good too, which is great. So granted, it's not a huge cut. I mean, 210 to 205, like I've cut from 217 to 205. So that's not as aggressive of a cut to begin with, but still, it's good to know that amidst travel, we can still make this work, and it seems like we're headed in the right direction. So that's good. So calories don't really change. The food sources change. And then, of course, the big one is manipulating water intake and sodium intake. Again, not going to go too deep into it. If you guys want me to make a video about this, I will. But it's basically just manipulating the amount of water and the amount of sodium you take in throughout the week so that you can essentially trick your body into urinating out a lot of your water. The water that you've held on to, and that's how you'd lose your water, So yeah, there are some smaller things that are involved with like a gut cut, water cut, but that's basically it. So that's going well. That's a good thing. In terms of how my body is feeling, okay, so this is the big one that we kind of have to unpack. So I recently uploaded last Saturday's training session. It was my final heavy squat session, and we had to take 738 on squat. And I think it went great. I think the session was great. The problem was that on that 738, when I came up and was re-racking, I injured my back. At first, I thought it was like a tweak. I thought it was just like a weird like muscle spasm kind of thing. And it's definitely not. It's definitely a disc issue. I have a history of like bulging discs in my lower back and my lumbar spine. And in fact, 3 years ago, my back pain was so bad I couldn't tie my shoes, like, period. Like it was just that bad. I couldn't walk without pain, couldn't whatever. And I haven't had those types of, issues in a while. And unfortunately, that Saturday squat session, I did not hurt my back as bad as that, but it's now there, and it kind of started to dissipate from Saturday to Wednesday. I had been training throughout the week, but obviously we were traveling. And then Wednesday I had a squat session and deadlift session. And I really didn't do much at all. The squat, like, I want to be clear here, I didn't do anything crazy on Wednesday. It's not like I did anything heavy or anything like that. And my back flared up quite a bit. In fact, the pain was more than what it was on Saturday. Now, I don't really know what to expect with my back, because I don't know what to expect. I really don't know. I mean, it's something that I'm feeling when I'm walking. I feel it when I sit. I feel it all the time. And it's weird because it's like there's like a source. It feels like there's like a spot in my lower back, right side. It's kind of like a sharp pain a little bit, which makes me think disc, especially when I go into flexion or extension. And then it kind of radiates out a little bit, which is another sign of, the not disc full tear, like a herniation, but it's there, it's a bulging, like it's a small tear. And so basically that fluid is pushing up against the nerve because the disc is torn, so the fluid is kind of spilling up, pushing up against the nerve. So I feel like that's happening. But it's, I don't know if it's so bad that I won't be able to lift. I'm still going to compete. I'm still going to go in as if I'm healthy. And I don't know how smart that is, but, I kind of am just giving it to God at this point. I have done everything I can to get here and to show up. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to step on the platform. We're going to show up. And in these moments, I think your mind is quick to think of the worst, not just in the current, but also in the future. Like, what if? And you can't allow that to happen. You can sit with it for a moment, but then you really have to just, if you're going to let yourself do that, you also have to let yourself experience the opposing side of that, which is, well, what if everything goes great? What if I have no back pain, during the meet? And I will say that if I can maintain the most insane, perfect technique, I can probably mitigate the damage done during the competition, even at the weights that I need to lift to win. And I truly believe that. I'm still going to probably make things a little bit worse, and I'm still going to experience pain, but I don't know if it would be as bad, So I think it's still possible, but we really won't know until the day, until I get under the bar and start squatting. Absolute worst comes to worst. Yeah, unfortunately, maybe I'll have to take like 600 or 650 or something like that on squat. And I don't even know if I'll be able to, really pull too much on deadlift because of my back. But that's like worst case scenario. Best case scenario is my back hurts and it flares up, but it holds up because I really only need just a few squats out of my body. I just need a couple. Really, if we're being honest, I just need one. I just need one really big squat. It happens to be the biggest squat of my life, but I just need one really big squat, and then I'm good. So there's a video I watch. I think I showed it to you guys in the last video. It's called Be a Man, and it's like a motivational YouTube montage video, whatever. But in that video, there's a clip that I've been kind of like rehearsing in my head for like the last month. And it's a clip from a football team, and team captain is, I guess they're in a championship game, fourth quarter, or maybe it was halftime. I don't know. It must have been halftime because they're in the locker room. And he just says 30 minutes for the rest of our lives, 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. And I feel that, like, that's so true, because it's in these moments, especially on the platform, literally minutes before you have to get under some of the heaviest weight you've ever lifted in your life to win a championship. And everything is on the line. I mean, and there's a real risk now because of an injury. To me, it's like, well, it's just 30 minutes for the rest of my life. That's it. It's just these next 30 minutes. Let me give everything I have, because this is for the rest of my life. This championship will last a lifetime. And yeah, so that's really just that's what's driving me forwards. So yeah, I do have this injury. And it's so strange because, like, Russ fails his deadlift like a week out or whatever. I failed my deadlift a week out. Taylor tweaks his back on his last squat, his last heavy squat before the competition. I tweaked my back. And Brandon Petrie, who actually, by the way, I saw yesterday. Heidi and I got to meet him and his girlfriend, Clara, I think her name is. Super awesome people. I love linking up with him. I've always had great conversations with him. In fact, I got to pray with him and his team at last year's Nationals just before we competed, which is a really special moment. And he was saying, like, this past year has been really tough for him training-wise. This whole past year has been really tough for me training-wise. So I don't know, man. From a logical perspective, I think we're all suffering from the meta style of programming that has taken place over the last several years, which is just basically trying to PR almost every block. You're always pushing yourself every block. Every block is RP6 to RP9, RP6 to RP9, and there's no real phases anymore to the training. There's no more like off season. There's no distinction between what are we doing around the time of a meet? What are we doing far away from the meet? What are we doing to peak? Like, everything just meshes together, and I just disagree with it all. I think I've done it for years now, and it's not how I coach my athletes, and it's not how I would coach anybody, including myself. And so I think we're all suffering the consequences of that. Multiple athletes at this point, because your body will get really strong really fast off of that, but then you'll hit a massive wall, and you're just going to keep trying to do the same thing that got you strong before. And Brandon Petrie actually said this the other day. I completely agree. He's like, what you don't realize is what got you strong before is the stuff that happened before you did that thing, and I completely agree. And so I think that that's what's happening. I think we're all just suffering from that like meta style of training, and we're getting hit, and some of the younger guys who haven't had as much time training in that way, of course, are going to have these massive spurts. But I promise you, and you're already starting to see it with some of these guys, they're going to plateau and they're going to get hit hard, and it's tough. So it's the nature of training. It's just the nature of pursuing something that's greater than yourself, and there's never always going to be clear answers, and you're going to have to discover things along the way for yourself and whatnot. But that's what I think is happening. I'm just saying it's so funny that like all of our circumstances are kind of like intertwined. I don't know. It's just strange. Yeah, man. So we'll see. So that is the bad news. The bad news is that I definitely do have this back injury. The good news is that I think I can push through. And the plan as of right now, of course, is to rest up, get some movement in here and there, but just really try to not aggravate my back as much as humanly possible. And yeah, I mean, maybe, I'll probably have to take some Advil or something like that on the day, which I do think is a little dangerous because, even if it does happen to help with the pain, it doesn't mean that the injury's gone. You know what I mean? So if anything, it makes things even more risky because you're not feeling the pain. And so you're more likely to do something that makes things worse, because you don't have the pain as like guardrails. So yeah, but either way, we're going to compete, and God willing, we'll be able to squat what we need to squat and deadlift what we need to deadlift. I will definitely have to pull sumo. So I guess a positive here is that like it basically forced me into that corner. I don't have to worry about the indecision there. I will definitely be pulling sumo. And yeah, in squats, I honestly may have to go heels. I may have to go even 3/4 inch heels or 20, 21, 25 millimeters, whatever it is, which I really didn't want to do. I think flats I'm stronger in. I feel more stable in flats, but I really do think it was the flats that aggravated my back because I just don't have the range. And for me to just push myself down into that position, I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to work, So I have a feeling that I'm going to have to squat in heels, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. You just adapt, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Now, moving past the injury side, in terms of my body and how my strength feels, I honestly feel really good. Like I genuinely think, like, even with as shitty of a training year as I've had, and as shitty of a prep as I've had, and as shitty as of a peak as on paper, I've had one of the worst preparations for a comp that I've ever had in my life. I can't say it's the worst because I think bench showed up, and squat. I mean, bro, considering everything, we hit 738 in soft sleeves, flats, which I've never hit that weight before in, no spot, and a week out from the meet. So basically in 3 weeks on a block, and it moved pretty well, dude. Like I can't say that squats went bad. You know what I mean? It was hard to get through squats for the prep, but I can't say it went bad. So I can't say that the prep was the worst prep I've ever had, but it's pretty freaking close. And especially like we had to turn it around 4 weeks out. Like things were going terribly, So all things considered, like, which is crazy to think about, but all things considered, if I didn't have the back situation, I genuinely think I would show up on the platform like the strongest version I've ever been, which is crazy. It's just crazy. So like, I really do think the only question mark, honestly, would be deadlift. And it's only a question mark because I don't know what's in me. I haven't pulled more than 727 all training year. So, but because of how I'm feeling and how much I pulled back for this taper, I genuinely feel like I could pull 760, 771, 782. Like I really do, especially with sumo. So it's just funny. It's just funny. Like I haven't had this type of back situation in years. And when does it happen? The last Saturday. Yeah, it is what it is, man. What are you going to do? You just roll with it. But, it's just funny. You know what I mean? It's just funny. So yeah. So my body feels great. I genuinely feel strong. I feel strong. I feel completely prepared to total 925, 930. It's just this back situation. So we'll see. We'll see what we have on the day, but we're just going to take it lift by lift. The hardest part is really just the openers, because you have a limited amount of time at the meet to change your opener. And so, originally my plan was to open around like 705, 716, but because of the back situation, it might make more sense to just try and open at 683 and then make a big jump, I've done that kind of stuff in the past. I wouldn't be too concerned about it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, and if my strength is there, which I think it will be, my strength is there, it's not going to matter. That big jump will matter. So, yeah, so that's the update there. In terms of my mindset, I guess, is that the only other thing that we got to cover? In terms of my mindset going into the meet, obviously this is a really difficult national championship, because coming up off of last year, that was a really hard loss for me, because not only was I in phenomenal shape, I truly believe I was like pretty close to my best. I think we made some small mistakes towards the end of the last block, in which we just pulled way too heavy, too close to the meet. And that cooked me, going into the meet. And so it made the taper basically have me show up just a little bit better than maybe I would have been in training, when it could have skyrocketed me, especially for deadlifts. But bench didn't really show up as much as we had hoped. But still, I was in arguably some of the best shape of my life going into last nationals. The cut was easy. I mean, everything clicked. And we lost by a matter of inches again. And that was extremely difficult to stomach, especially because, and I've talked about this before, but especially because just a couple weeks, I think it maybe would have been just 1 week even, prior to me flying out to compete, I had gotten some of the worst news I've ever gotten in my life about a family member. And so that was like a crazy mountain of stress, crazy mountain of pain, and all that. And so to like go through all of that, and then for it to all just not be worth it, because obviously as an athlete, you're thinking outcome, right? Yes, you detach, but you're still doing it for something. For it to not be worth it was really hard, because I had to embrace the reality that life isn't fair. And just because you work really hard, just because you might deserve it, just because whatever, doesn't mean you're going to get it. And in a lot of ways, you're not going to get what you deserve in more ways than one. Like, you're not going to get what you deserve on the positive. You're also not going to get what you deserve on the negative. There are great people that terrible things happen to them, and you just ask, like, why? And I do think that I've learned to embrace it, because it's a beautiful thing about life. I mean, there's so much I could dive into there, but just from a Christian perspective, I believe God doesn't do bad things. I don't think God puts you through things on purpose per se. Like, he doesn't inflict damage to you. He loves you. I think he turns all bad into good, but you have to find him, you have to seek him, you have to build a relationship with him. And that relationship has to come from a place of vulnerability and intimacy. And the core of intimacy is trust. In order to be intimate, you have to have trust. And what better way to cultivate trust between two entities than in a time of need, right? Because you're vulnerable, and you need this person. You need God. You need Christ. If you didn't feel like you needed them, you would never embark on the journey to build trust and to lean into that relationship. And so I think that God uses what happens for good. And so even in this, man, like the injury, I've never competed with this type of injury. I've competed with aches and pains for sure. And I'm not really one to like make excuses and talk about it. Like, I don't do that. but this is the first time where I've had this type of injury going into me, and so it's a challenge, but I really do just trust God. Like even if it turns to shit, like even if I can't put anything on my back, I don't know. I just have faith, I guess, and so that would, like, you guys may see that and hear that and be like, oh my God, like that's such a great mindset. That was built through years of trials and adversity and years of not leaning in and not trusting and not having faith. This is the first national championship I'm probably at like the most peace that I've had. Like I'm still having fun. I'm still like, I'm not worried about the competition. I'm not worried about any of that shit. And I just feel comfortable and confident loading weights that I literally have never lifted in my life. And even with this injury, to me, it's still so possible. And this is the first national championship where I've been at that state. And it's because of him. That's just the truth. But that relationship and that faith wouldn't have been built if it weren't for all of the shit that I've gone through. So mindset-wise, I know I like to yap and go off the mark quite a bit, so I apologize. But last year was hard. And this whole past training year was one of the worst training years I've had. Just wall after wall. Lots of hardship, lots of adversity in pretty much every area of my life. And then even just really, I think one of the biggest things is just me having to step up more and more and more in my family, and taking a little bit more of like a leadership role in a lot of ways. And in that video, that motivational video, Be a Man, there's a quote from Shia LaBeouf that during his podcast with Bernthal, he says, what makes you a man is when you're responsible for other people, when you become responsible for things. That's what it means to be a man, is when you become responsible for that. It's not about going to prison. It's not about playing in the NFL. It's not about lifting hundreds of pounds. It's showing up for the people who are counting on you and carrying that burden. And I think that's a great way to describe what has had to happen to me over the past couple of years. And so I'm so grateful for it. But it's not easy. When I ask God to turn me into a man that's worth something, that can be useful, to turn me into somebody great in nature, and I've said this before, but in nature, to create a diamond requires an obscene amount of pressure. I would be no different. The Bible literally tells us that iron sharpens iron. Do you think the sharpening process is comfortable? You're literally grinding iron against iron. Literally grinding to sharpen a blade. You're shaving away all the dullness, all the bullshit. It has to be eliminated. That's not a comfortable process. It's not meant to be. And so it's fun and easy to think, oh God, yeah, make me strong. Oh God, make me capable, make me. And then you go through what it is required of you to go through in order to be sharpened and honed into that. And you realize, like, fuck, man, it's not easy. But it's what you asked for. It's what you asked for, and it's what's necessary, because I think you got to choose your heart. You got to choose your pain. You can either have the pain of being useless and being weak, or you can have the pain of becoming strong. And I prefer the latter, So, yeah, easier said than done. But yeah. So yeah, the training year was tough. Obviously, Grandpa passed away in September, and then we had to put down my dog 4 weeks ago. I talked about that, I think, in 2 videos ago. So, when you take it all together, it's been a hard, long road to get here. And especially as somebody who is here for a reason. Like, I not only believe I was born to be the best, but I also believe I genuinely have the potential to be the best. Like right now, I have the potential to win. And to have these types of setbacks be like roadblocks, it's like, damn, man, like I just can't catch a break. But that mentality is such a disease. You never want to think like that, because everyone's going to have circumstances. And so it's not about the circumstances. It's how you respond to it. It's what you choose to do in those moments, because I can't control a lot of my circumstances. That back situation was a complete fluke, dude. My back was feeling fucking amazing going into the session. I didn't feel, I felt beat up. I felt tired, but I didn't feel like shit, like injured and like that. You know what I mean? It's like, what could I have done to control for that? 10 pounds less on the squat would have been no, would not have made the difference. You know, maybe not doing the flats, but how was I supposed to know? You know, it's just, so we all have circumstances, and it's a matter of choice after that, because that's what will decide the future. Like, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And so, you know, and I hate to hit you guys with more quotes, but Ryan Lapidat, South Africa, Sun City Worlds, and I lost. And he came up to me and he said, "Man, I'm proud of you." I said, "Proud of what?" He's like, "Circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him to himself." These circumstances they are a mirror for you to see yourself in. You'll learn a lot about yourself when you go through hard shit, and and no one can come and save you. Like, no one, like, my girlfriend's here to support me. She's been phenomenal, but even she cannot lift me up. She cannot be the one who steps under 771. She can't be the one to do it. And if she could, she still shouldn't, because if I don't do it myself, I can't grow from it. There's no transference of gains here, you know? And so you have a choice. And I'm speaking as somebody who used to make the easy choice. Sometimes I still do. Making the easy choice of giving up, quitting, fuck, yeah, okay, maybe tomorrow. Sounds corny to say this, but there is no tomorrow. I mean, Rocky was right. Like, that it's just true, man. And like, the more you go through, the more you show up, the more you realize, like, fuck, man, like, it's actually not about the championship. It's about who I'm becoming in the process of that. If you could see the difference between how I am and who I am today versus the competitor I was 3 years ago, you wouldn't even recognize the person from 3 years ago. And that only happens through the trials, through the tribulations. And I had a call with one of my mentors. His name is Keith. And I had hit him with, and we were talking about the whole situation. And I had hit him with, James 1, 2-4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials and tribulations of many kinds. Basically, it's meant to hone you and make you complete, not lacking anything. But I didn't say consider it pure joy. I just started at, basically endure the trials. And he was like, but you forgot something. You forgot that you're supposed to consider it pure joy, that it's supposed to be joyous, that the adversity should be joy. Embrace it, delight in it, because know that it is producing perseverance. It is producing a perfect you. That's what it's creating. And the joy aspect is something I've always struggled with. And I thought it was really funny that that's what he saw that I was missing. And that's what this is about, man. Like, this is, when this happens, like when I have the injury, when I'm going through all this shit, this means that I'm growing. Like, this means that, like, okay, we have an opportunity here to be greater than who we used to be. We have an opportunity here to show up when most others would quit, would give up, would walk away. We have an opportunity here to give everything we have, no matter what happens, because that's the one thing we are in control of. I'm not saying we have an opportunity here to just win. Like, it's more than that. It's giving everything you have. And they are very different. Because maybe giving everything I have on game day is taking 600 on squat, taking 5-something on bench, and taking 6-something on deadlift. Don't even come close to winning. But that's everything I had in that moment. That's a win. Now, would I still be frustrated and disappointed that I didn't accomplish what I came here to do, and I spent thousands of dollars to be here, and my Heidi's here, and my mom's going to be here, and I got my videographer, and I got my handler Ray, and is it unfortunate? Does it hurt to know, like, man, all this was kind of for nothing? Like, it again, and I keep falling short, and there's always some. Of course, but you'll always find those things in everything that you do, and I promise you, even as somebody who has won, even when you win, you'll find those moments. You'll still say, man, but I didn't do this, or I could have done this, or I should have done that. So you quickly realize it's really not about all of that. It's truly about you showing up for yourself and making the conscious decision to never give up, period. Period. That's it. And when you do that, like you look back and you'll say to yourself, like, okay, like I gave everything. I can be proud of that. Not only that, but I did it leaning on him, thus glorifying him, right? This is for him. And this is what he built me to do, is to do hard shit. Like that's why I have that fucked up shit in my head where it's like, I have to keep going. I have to go no matter what's, because he put that in me for a reason. And the reason is to just see how far I can push myself. And so when I say we burn the boats, like who am I if I don't show up, injured or not, when I'm the same person who's saying, if we're going to take the island, we got to burn their ships. There's no turning back. No matter what happens, we're leaving here with something. I can't then be the guy, because then I'd be a hypocrite. And that's not who he wants me to be, you know? And I think, and I hope he can use me to show people you can do anything you set your mind to. Trust him. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. One foot in front of the other. You don't need to see the way in front of you. Just keep walking. That's it. So, long-winded way of saying I'm still pretty confident in this weekend. And don't get me wrong, I have my moments where I'm like, man, dude, my back. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know. But A, there's no use in worrying about it. And B, as soon as that thought comes, it goes, you know, and I replace it with a better thought, which is, man, but could you imagine the story I get to tell when I win, despite the training, despite the failures, despite the back injury, despite all this shit, we still win. And not only do we win, but we do it in a respectable way, meaning we set a world record total as we do it. And we just, like, that's the story I get to tell if I come out of this. And if I don't, I still get to say I never gave up, which is more than 99.9% of the human population can say for themselves. So we have a choice, and I am choosing. I'm not saying this, I'm making the right choice. I don't know. If I had a son, I don't know if I would let him compete with a back injury and all this shit, you know, because I'd be concerned for his health. I'd be concerned about him, but you know, do as I say, not as I do, I guess. I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm not saying you guys should follow my footsteps. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, you know, and some people may not understand that, but you know, the pain to me of quitting and walking away from this because of the injury, because of whatever, would hurt me more than I think the pain of dealing with the back injury, you know? I truly trust in the Lord that he would not have led me to this moment and brought me this far. And I wouldn't be at such peace if he didn't have plans to help me. If he didn't have plans to, if nothing else, just keep me healthy, keep me safe. If he didn't have plans to be with me as I compete, I just don't think that would be the case. I really don't. I think that if he really had wanted me to turn around, if he really had wanted me to just, oh, you got to quit, I'd feel uneasy. I'd feel anxious. But I don't. I just feel like, do what we do best. Just lift some weights. That's all it is. You know, like I just feel at peace. I feel calm. don't get me wrong. The back pain is frustrating and I feel it every 5 seconds, but you know, it's like, it's not over till it's over. Let's get under the bar and let's lift and let's see what happens, you know? So yeah, so that's where I'm at with everything. This ended up turning into a much longer video than I previously intentioned, whatever, you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about this weekend. I cannot express to you guys enough how grateful I am that you guys watch these videos and care enough to comment and get, like, I don't ever want anyone to put me on a pedestal ever, 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 ever. I just want to be relatable. I just want people to see themselves in me as I have seen myself in you and in others. And the only reason why I want that for you is because I know how hard it can get and I know how heavy it can get. And I know I know how lonely it can get. And I want you to see that it's worth moving forward no matter what, and giving everything no matter what, and to never give up on yourself no matter what. I want you guys to see that, because it's what I need. It's certainly what the younger me needed. And there is no shame in being weak. The shame is in staying weak. And that is a decision that you have to make. That's where we're gonna end it. Man, sorry, I feel like a bitch right now. Ay, ay, ay. Ridiculous. It's the altitude. That's what it is. Yeah, if you're gonna take the island, you burn the boats. I'll see you guys on the other side. This is probably the last video I upload before Nationals, so thank you guys again for watching. Live stream will be up. I'll try to link it to this video if it's available. But yeah, man. Let's go. Okay, I wrapped up the Yap session as if I was wrapping up the YouTube video. I forgot that we still have to show you some other stuff. All right, so first, this is the view. That's the lake, Lake Tahoe, beautiful. And then these are all the buildings and stuff. This is the room. That's Heidi. She's having a nice, nutritious meal. This is my meal here. So I'll break down the macros in a second, but we've got a low sodium rice cake with a serving of peanut butter, 32 grams to be exact, a serving of honey, about 18 grams of carbs right there. This is 2 scoops of protein. I'll show you what protein powder in a second for those of you who are interested. And in here, my favorite part is a serving of Starburst Minis. These are the best candies you can get, I promise. So let me pull out my phone as we walk over to the protein section so I can show you the macros. So all of the macros on this meal come out to 58 protein, 43 carbs, 17 fat. I probably need a few more carbs for sure. We'll see. I don't mind being a little bit behind on carbs during the day because it means I just get to eat more candy at the end of the day. But this is the protein I'm using. So I picked up this one, Rule One. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but it's a whey isolate. Very good ingredients, very clean. And I got it because number one, it actually tastes really, really good. Orange dreamsicle. It's a nice change of pace from like chocolate. But the main reason why I got it is because I don't know if you guys can see that, if it's gonna focus or not, I don't know. Sodium is 40 milligrams per serving. To show you in comparison, Heidi and I, well, Heidi really likes Transparent Labs. I used to really, really like them. They're just kind of expensive. Transparent Labs, whey protein isolate, 210 milligrams of sodium per scoop. And remember, the name of the game of a water cut and manipulating all that stuff is being able to control sodium, but most importantly, keep sodium low. So if I'm going to be using protein powder as my primary source of protein throughout the day, especially this close to the meat, I cannot be having thousands of milligrams of sodium just from protein. So 40 milligrams of sodium per serving is phenomenal, especially because I usually am going to have to average 2 to 4 scoops at least per day. So I think that's it. Yeah, low sodium peanut butter here as well. These are the Starburst Minis. Yeah, this is everything. Sheesh. Okay, so I'm gonna eat, and then after we eat, we're gonna try and coordinate training. I'll take you guys with me. We'll show you a little bit of the venue and all that stuff.
Gavin, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you, Justin.
Justin, nice to meet you, brother. Saturday, bro. Yeah. Thank you, man. All right, guys. So we are gonna get our last final bench session in. Today is, again, Thursday. By the time this uploads, it'll probably be Friday. And we compete Saturday. So nothing too crazy, pretty similar to what I've been doing every single week. I have like 1 to 2 sets of 2, a little heavy, and then we have some back downs, and that's it. And then we're completely done, all right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're currently in the warm-up room. I'll give you a little bit of a tour after we're done training. We just wanna get this done before they have the chance to kick us out, so. Just gotta move that rack height up a little bit. Holy, I feel okay. A little careful getting up because of the back. Let's bump this up to 7. All right. Now we do want to be mindful of the back, but really bench shouldn't bother my back too much. What's going on, dude?
Got started?
Yeah, I'm gonna breeze through this.
Yeah.
So, 190, you think, for today? Yeah, get John in there.
Not locked in, bro. What is this? Inside plate.
Bro, I was gonna start filming during nationals, so I can narrate that me beating everybody.
Did what's it called? Laugh It Out ask you to commentate?
Yeah, Sunday,
Okay.
which I'm excited about because that's Ant's session.
Yeah, I told him I was like, yeah, ask Gavin. That was good.
Yeah, it felt good.
That was great. That was good.
Yeah, it felt good.
Honestly, I'm kind of happy with that.
Yeah?
You want to just cap it there and you drop down?
Yeah, I agree.
Nice.
It's in here, but it travels up to the erector, and then it goes into the glute a little bit.
Just breathe with my hands. Good. Keep reaching that foot. Give it a little traction. Up.
Yeah, a little bit.
One more. Good.
I definitely feel it, like, in here.
We're activating this to take the pressure off this because in your lifts, most of it's doing this. If you go heavy enough, what'll happen is this will start taking over.
Yeah.
That's why I talk about the tipping point. So you can stand up, move around a little bit. The more steps you take before you sit down again, the better.
Are you not lifting this session?
No, I literally just came to
then
do
you're
a
not
quick
supposed
bench
to be back
session.
here.
I know. I'm sorry.
There's
I'm
no
sorry.
training during the competition, so you need to
Oh,
get
okay.
going.
Okay. Yeah, no. Can I pack my stuff up, or
Yeah,
should I
go ahead.
leave it here?
Can I see your badge, please?
She's with me. She's coming with me. We literally just got kicked out. You probably heard the audio. Got kicked out, but we finished right in the nick of time, so that was perfect. But this is the venue. Really cool. Really nice space, honestly. I'm really happy with it. It's very open. It's very nice. Very excited to compete here because I think it looks really clean. Yeah, so now, honestly, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Just gonna chill out for the rest of the day. Heidi's got to train, so we'll figure out where we want her to go, what she needs to do, and then, yeah, then we'll be good. I'm using the body mic. Yeah, this is cute, right? We're outside the, hold on. Outside the gym, the local gym we've been going to. I mean, obviously not much of a view, just really cool trees and a really pretty girl, but I got that game, dude. I got that game. Yeah, no, we just finished up at the gym. Heidi had like an upper body session with a little bit of lower body, and then I had my cardio. 31 minutes. You guys know we do not miss a day. It's actually kind of nice out right now.
It is actually very beautiful.
Monday we're gonna go on like not hikes and stuff, but we're definitely gonna check out. We're definitely
Gavin and hikes in the same sentence. That's
definitely not hikes actually. Yeah, but we'll look at the mountains and we'll look at the water. No, it'll be cool, man. It'll be cool. Monday we're gonna go. We're gonna head back, and I think it's just like a chill day now. I think it's just a chill day. I think we're just gonna maybe watch a movie, eat dinner, and just go to sleep early. I've been trying to average like at least 9 hours. Heidi's working this week, and so because we're 3 hours behind, it's kind of nice, but it also kind of sucks because like she has to log in to work by 6 a.m. each day. So because we're here. So it's kind of nice because then she finishes by 2, but it's downside that we literally have to wake up at like, 5:36. But honestly, it's been really nice to wake up that early, right? Get most of the day done. All right, we're gonna head back and we'll wrap up the video back at the hotel. That's gonna conclude today's video. Kind of like a training vlog, but not really. But as you can see, I think we're in great shape. If this back can hold up, like I feel it, but if this back can hold up, if I can just get through what I need to get through and lift what I need to lift, we'll be good. And if I can do it somewhat safely to not make the situation worse, so that after the meet, whether it's Worlds, whether it's NAPFs, whether it's just another year of training, we're still in a good spot. We don't have to spend a lot of time rehabbing. As long as I can do that, we're going to be good. And I have faith. You know what I mean? I really do. I have faith. And, I'm going to be real with you. I've always wrestled with this thought of like, a lot of people, when they talk about competing, they have this mindset of confidence, extreme confidence, delusion to some degree, where it's, I know I'm going to win. I know I'm going to. And the truth is I've always wrestled with myself in expressing that and saying things like that because I never truly believed it, because I know I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that I have the power to give everything. And that's something that I can confidently say I will do. And that's why I have the burner ships mentality, because it has nothing to fucking do with the people on the island, the people in the kingdom. It has to do with me and my army. And so that's where my confidence comes from. It comes from my ability to adapt, to persevere, to be resilient, and to flip the switch. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I don't know if we're going to win. I don't know if I'm even going to be able to squat 771, 804, let alone 600. I don't know. I just know I'm going to try. I know I'm going to load it and I'm going to fucking try. And I'll go out on my shield, man. I will. And that's what I'm confident in. And I'm very excited, truthfully. Like I'm very much at peace. I do have some nerves and stuff like that, but I am very much at peace. And what I will say is I'm going to do everything in my power to load everything I need in order to win, earn my spot on Team USA again, and go to Worlds. Everything in my power. And I trust God to do his work. If it's in his will, it's in his will. But I trust in him to lead me, to give me the strength and the courage to persevere, to be resilient. I know it's not going to be easy, but it's not supposed to be. I also have faith that no matter what the outcome is, no matter what happens, I have the power and the ability to overcome it and to become stronger as a result of it. And that's it. And it's just one step in front of the other. Each and every day, win or lose, the next day is day one of training anyway. Okay, so yeah, man, this is probably the last training vlog I will upload before Nationals. I don't know if I'm going to film during Nationals. I probably won't, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, all right. I'll keep you guys updated though on Instagram and stuff. And yeah, man, like I said, I really appreciate everybody tuning in, everybody who takes the time to comment. It means the world to me. It genuinely gives me the motivation and the drive and the assurance I need to create this content, because it means that this content now has value because you guys are resonating with it and are even just taking the time to watch it. All right. So really appreciate you guys, and I will catch you on the other side, man. Hopefully the next YouTube video I upload, I'm talking about what it took to win a national championship. All right. I'll see you in the next training vlog. Peace.